Hello, happy Saturday in July. So of course it's July, we're gonna make Halloween. Today I have this light up jack-o'-lantern. Yay! I got him from the at-home store. Now I bought him last year, but I think they're starting to put these guys out now. So you can find him at the at-home store, or similar, check your Lowe's, Home Depot, lots of places carry these cute little guys. But we are going to be doing a candy corn theme one. So of course we have lots of candy corn themed picks. Got some balls. I may or may not use this guy. I'm hoping to use this guy, but he's kind of big. But he is a cool little cookie. He's a little ghost cookie. Got some candy corn little twists. Some other little picks. Some ball picks. A couple pieces of mesh is all I'm going to need. And then some beautiful orange roses. I'm going to not use the leaves, but I'm going to use the actual flowers. Ooh, pretty. I got these from Old Time Pottery, but you can find orange roses. I used to get them at Joann. May she rest in peace. But now you can probably get them from Craft Outlet is a good place to start. Okay. So I'm going to move all these goodies off to the side here. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Okay. So, how I like to start this is explaining what this is. This is spray foam. So this is called Gaps and Cracks. It is spray insulation. It comes in a red can with a yellow lid, and basically you can fill up containers. You can spray this directly on stuff. It does puff up larger than what you spray it, so keep that in mind. Spray it in an outdoor, well-ventilated spot. But once it dries, this becomes like floral foam. So if you don't want to use this, you can cut up, go to the dollar store and get the block of floral foam, and you can just cut it into pieces and glue that on there. I would recommend using E6000. That is a good craft adhesive. As well as you can then like really secure it on there with some hot glue as well, but not too hot because sometimes that will actually melt that foam, so you got to be careful. But now that I have, this has been dried. I sprayed this last year, so I'm pretty sure it's dry. So we're good with that. But what we're going to do is, to start with, I like to add a layer of mesh around here. That kind of like fills it in. You're not going to see this so much because I hate using Spanish moss. Spanish moss is the devil. I hate that stuff. So anything I can do to avoid that, I will. So I'm going to add this. Now this over here, it's my heavy duty hardware. This is a pick machine, okay? What this does is this is going to add a very sharp silver pick onto the mesh. When I bundle it up into a ruffle, it's going to poke it right in here. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can always use these. You can get these little skewers like this. I don't even know what that wire is useless. Does anyone actually use that wire? I don't. But you can also cut this down into pieces, so you can kind of attach the wire on there, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. Okay. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple pieces. Now this is this 10 or 10.5 inch mesh? This is 10.5 inch mesh. I got this from Craft Outlet. There's lots of places that you can get this from, but I just want to cut a couple of ruffles. So I'm going to start. First of all, I want to make a nice clean edge. So I'm going to cut off all of that. Mesh is going to fray. That's just the nature of the beast, okay? I want to cut this at about 18 inches a piece. So let me roll it out. I do have a mesh roller, but I'm only cutting like 3 pieces, so I don't need to whip that out. So I got 1, 2. Oh, that's already kind of basically the size I need. Cool. And I had one previously cut size I need. Cool. And I had one previously cut from another project, so I've got my 3 pieces. Now what I'm going to do is turn around and grab some pipe cleaners. I'm going to grab like 3 of them. So what I do is. So the pumpkin came from the At Home store. So I don't know if they're regional or nationwide, but they do ship online. So it's athome.com, I believe. But they've got lots of really cool stuff. But you can find them look at Lowe's, Menards is my home improvement store by us, Home Depot, maybe even Five Below, like places like that you can find them. But this one lights up and is batteries, so that's why I like that one. And then again, that's gaps and cracks that I sprayed on the top, but you can also glue on some floral foam to get the same effect. So what I'm going to do is make some ruffles. So you see how it wants to curl up? I'm going to let it do what it does naturally. So I'm going to curl these ends in just a little bit, because I'm just going to curl it in just so we're covering that cut edge, okay? So I have it like this, and then I'm just going to ruffle it up right in the middle, okay? Now, if you don't have a pick machine, you might want to leave this as one solid piece, but I only need a little bit, so I'm going to cut my pipe cleaner in half, okay? I'm going to wrap it right around here. Sorry, I usually shove it against my chest and wrap it, but I'm not going to do it that way today. Okay, and then I get what's called, this is called a cruffle. A cruffle is a combination of a curl plus a ruffle. Curl, ruffle, cruffle. There we go. So I got one of these. Now I'm going to continue twisting this because I want to make it one solid piece, and I'll show you why in a bit. Now with this next one, I'll show you how to use it with this. So what I would do. So let me do another cruffle. Okay. And usually for a pumpkin this size, I think it's like a 8-inch wide pumpkin. Let me see. Maybe it's less. That's about 8 inches. I only usually use about 3 cruffles. Okay, so here's my cruffle. I would take, I'll just shove it against my chest. Why not? Mama's got boobs, might as well use them. All right, I'm just gonna pull nice and tight, twist. Okay. Twisted the solid, but now if you're trying to use like a bamboo skewer, all you would do is you take a little tiny dab, a little bit of glue, and you would put it on here, and then you would just wrap this pipe cleaner around the skewer, okay? Wrap it like that, and then you would cut it off, because we can't, if we put this whole thing in there, it's gonna be like that tall. So you cut it off. You only need like a tiny little bit, just like a little bit, all right? And then you would cut that off, and then you would put glue in and then stab it into the pumpkin. But I'm not gonna do that because I'm going to use my pick machine, which I'll show you in a second. Pick machines are awesome. They're expensive, but eBay, always a good place to look. There's always lots of floral shops that go out of business, or crafters that decide they don't craft anymore, whatnot. So you can usually find them online. That's how I got mine, eBay, because I am a broke ass bitch. So I'm gonna save as much as I can. And it came with picks, and the biggest struggle I had with that was trying to figure out how to refill the picks, but it's not that hard. All right, here we go. This is my last cruffle. I'm rolling it, making it straight. Okay, here we go. I don't like that. Hold on, I'll put that in the middle. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna snip off the ends of these. I only want about 1 inch left because I'm using my pick machine. Most of you aren't gonna do this, so this is just for me. Yay, fling. Okay, so there's a little pick in here. So if I push the handle up, it brings the pick forward. Okay, if you can see that. And then I just set it in here. I put this directly on this long flat part of the pick. And then when I push down on the handle, it reaches around and it grabs that. And there you go. These are very sharp. Do not stab yourself under the fingernail with these. Remember, remember. Very vital. Can't tell you how many times I've done that. And the obscenities that screamed forth from my mouth were, well, like the ones I usually say every day. But they were said with much force. Okay, so I have 3 of these. I'm gonna move, this is my mesh holder. I'm gonna move this off to the side. All right. Because I want access to my glue gun. Now, some people use a glue pot. I like to use a glue gun Gives me a little bit more control and is less likely to burn me, which is something that I have an issue with. Okay, so we're bringing pumpkin back. I'm bringing pumpkin back. Yeah. I'm not Justin Timberlake. I don't have any DUIs. Sorry, too soon? All right, here we go. I'm going to add glue onto this. Okay. And I like to add in the front. I'll go this way. So I like to put kind of like one in the front, kind of like that way. Then I'm going to put, you know what I might do? I might cut down the pick a little bit, just so I can stab it in there and not worry about hitting the plastic pumpkin. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue on the back. Here we go. Now I'm going to put this one in like so. All right. Make sure he's looking good. Now I'm going to put one back here now. Okay. I almost wish I had some more of that because I could probably have gone with a fourth piece, but I don't have a fourth handy. The rest of this is in the garage, the additional rolls. So I'm just going to use what I got. I'm going to use what my mama gave me. And I'm not really too concerned about getting the top. I just really kind of want to be able to cover what's kind of down toward the bottom on this a little bit. I don't really like that. Sorry, I'm playing around with, I'm pulling this one out. I didn't like how that laid. Or this one. I'm going to go back. Yeah, a little more glue. I'm going to put him back here more. All right. I'll cut this off a little bit. See? All right. I'll turn him around as soon as I get all this in. I'll turn it around and show you what he looks like from the front. Okay. There we go. All right. Can add a little bit more glue around there too. If I want to catch just some of the mesh to kind of keep it from moving around a little bit, I can do that too. Okay. All right. So right now it's like this. I'm going to cover some stuff in here so we don't have to worry about it. But this is just kind of giving me some bulk coverage, which is kind of what I wanted. Hold that in there. Just remember, when you're gluing mesh, the glue will come through the mesh. So be very, very careful. Because that shit is hot. Hence, hot glue. Yeah. I might have to end up using some Spanish moss there. We'll see. We'll see. If I go in that way. Here we go. Throw it on there. Do-do-do-do. I just burnt myself. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay? All right. Here's what we got going on right now. So that's where we're at. So I think one of the first things I want to do is look at that really, really tall pick, which is this one. Figure out how tall do I really want this to be. I don't want it to be super tall, but I want it to have something fun and cute. So I've made ones before that are like witches, and they have witch legs and a witch hat. Some people didn't like the witch legs. They're cute, get over it. But this time I don't have anything like that, so we're gonna focus on Mr. Ghosty Pants, okay? And I think I'm gonna use him. I'm gonna have to cut down his stem. So I got this from, I believe he was from Craft Outlet. But he might have also been from mbcrafts.com. Go check out mbcrafts.com. Go to the link tree that I've got in my bio. There's a link tree and there's a whole bunch of links, but mbcrafts.com. That's my friend Max. He's in Wisconsin. All right, so I think I'm gonna cut this down to like literally right here, I think. Yeah. But I save this because you can use these things. Like, remember before we were trying to figure out what we can wind this stuff around with the pipe cleaner? You can use the floral stems, okay? All right, so I'm going to separate him out. So this is cute. This is cute. So I'm going to face him toward me so I can see where the exact placement is that I want for this guy. I think I want to go in the middle, but he has a stem in the middle, so I might have to go a little bit more toward like the side or front. Definitely, I don't want to do the front. No, I'm going to go more toward the back because I am going to have a bow on this guy. Oh, I didn't tell you we're going to do a bow. All right. Oh, freaking A. Hot glue. That's not really going in very far. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I also want to cut that down. So I'm going to cut it down. There we go. Have a good pair of snips. That always helps. You can't cut some of this stuff with just scissors. That ain't gonna work. All right, now I put him back there. There we go. He is looking so cute. I'm gonna put him a little off to the side because I'm gonna make a bow now. We're gonna put it right there, okay? So I'm gonna move him off to the side. We're gonna make a bow. How do I make a bow? I use a bow maker. Look, some people are like, oh, you're not a real bow maker if you don't make it by hand. I got tendonitis. My hands hurt. Why am I going to do something that's going to physically cause me pain? That makes no sense. And it ends up looking the same anyway. Plus, if I use a bow maker and I suddenly have to pee, I can just leave it and come back. And when you're my age, you never know when you're going to pee or how much notice you're going to get. So here we go. Now this ribbon, this came from Craft Outlet. This is RG01601R6. All right. But I think I'm going to see, I also do have a 2.5 inch and I want to get a little bit more of the black accent in here, but I'm worried that that might make it too big. So I think, nah, there's no such thing as too big because I got a lot of height and stuff to work with. So as long as I'm not making like crazy 7-inch loops, we'll be good. Okay, so I'm going to do this as my bottom layer. Okay, so I'm going to do the black. Or oh, you know what? No, I think I'm going to do this one instead. I'm going to do this instead. This is more of like a satiny ribbon, but it'll be less bulky. The other one is more of a canvas. And it's a little bit thicker. All right, I got enough. So I start by dovetailing a ribbon. What a dovetail is you take, this is wired ribbon. Always use wired ribbon. Don't even try using ribbon that's not wired. It will look like crap. All right. I'm taking these 2 wired edges. I'm bending them together. I'm cutting angled from the inside going outward toward the wires. And there you go. It is a dovetail. Aww. Where did they get the name? I don't know. It looks like the tail of a dove. All right. So I'm going to put this in my bow maker. Oh, hold on. I'm going to get rid of these little pieces. I don't want to, these are sharp mofos and I don't want to end up hurting myself. So let me scooch it over. There we go. Okay. All right. So I think this is a 6-inch tail, right? Where I have my fingers pinched, that is 6 inches. That might be a little bit too big. No. We're going to do a 6-inch tail. Okay. And then I pinched and twisted on this other side, so I'm looking at the back side of the ribbon, right? I'm going to bring it over, pull it in here, and then I'm going to have, I'd say about a 5.5 inch loop, okay? Pinch and twist. Here we go. Pinch and twist. 5.5 inch loop. I'm going to cut over here. And I think I'm going to cut it off right about here. So that would be a little past 6.5, okay? I'm trying to match the other side. And then I dovetail this end, okay? All right. So then I'm going to spread it out. I'm going to pull this tail down, that tail up, this loop down, this loop up. Okay? I got just a little bit left. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll find something. All right? Maybe I'll just add another. I'll find something. All right? Maybe I'll just add another tail in there. Maybe that's how I can do this. All right. Okay. Just gonna throw that in here. I'm just gonna kind of lay it over the other set of tails that was in there. All right. This is gonna help. I'm still adding the black color, but since it's not a loop, it's not going to be as bulky. So I'm still going to get the coverage I want. I feel like I'm talking about a bra. All right. So I have what looks like this. All right. Now we're going to layer on that 1.5 inch. It's really pretty 1.5. Candy corn colors, obviously. Justin! Hey there, how's it going? I loved your 4th of July t-shirts you guys were wearing yesterday. So cute. You always dress the part so cute. You must have one heck of a wardrobe. I'm still envious of your Dolly Parton costume. Okay, now this tail is going in. That other tail was 6.5. This one we're gonna have hitting it like 6, okay? Because we're gonna have, you see, what do I want for these loops? I'm going to do a set of loops at 5 inch. Okay, another set of loops at 5 inch. Okay. And then I'm cutting this off a little bit over there. Dovetailing. And then I'm cutting this off a little bit over there. Dovetailing. Okay. And then this one's going to have this tail all the way down, that loop up. Tail up, loop down. But I still need some more kind of going on up here. Okay, so we're gonna have to add, oh, check it out, I have, this is really cute. This is just black with orange glitter, which we like. We like everything is better with glitter. All right, so now I'm gonna start with my tail going this way, because last time I went the other way. All right. So that is about 5.5 inch tail, which means this is going to be probably a 4.5 inch loop. Pinch and twist on the left. Okay, 4.5 inch loop, and then cutting a 5.5 inch tail. Okay. Here we go. All right, tail up this time on the right, tail down on the left this time, okay? All right, so now I'm going to grab, again, I just need a half. Grab my bow. I'm going to wrap this around my bow. And you guys, if you watch me, you know that sometimes I like to stick something look cute and glittery in the center. So eventually when we're all done, the last thing we'll do possibly is put something nice and cute in the center of this bow. Okay? So I'm just twisting the ends of the pipe cleaner together so it makes one solid piece. All right, now let's fluff our bow, okay? All of these tails and loops should be independent. They shouldn't be stuck to anything else. Here we go. So you put your hand in the loop and then you just open up your hand. And that just really opens up your loop a lot. All right, and then now I'm gonna go put this real quick. I'm gonna move it over. I'm gonna put it in my pick machine. I showed you guys what it was before. Please don't make me bring that behemoth over because that is just too heavy. My weak little arms are so tired. All right, I want to cut a little bit more because I want to get the pick real close to here, the end of the pick, so that it doesn't wiggle too much once it is on. our baby. Okay, I'm gonna move my ribbons off to the side. It's off to the side there. All right, moving it over. I am also going to cut a little bit off the metal pick, just so it's not as long, because the pick is longer than the height of my floral foam. And again, the floral foam I sprayed on, there's gaps and cracks, because the pick is longer than the height of my floral foam. And again, the floral foam I sprayed on, there's gaps and cracks. I've got videos on my YouTube that kind of show how to use that, or I've done some other videos like that, but I do have everything backed up to my Tube of You channel, wink wink. So go follow me there if you want full length videos, a whole library full of stuff. All right, so here's our bow. Now I don't want it centered, I want to go off center, okay? So I'm gonna put it right in here, but I need to face it to me so I know what I'm doing. All right, and every time I put glue on, I make sure that the ribbons are not in the way, so if the glue drips down, I'm not going to accidentally get glue on my beautiful bow. All right, now making sure I don't want any of the loops to get in her eyes, so I'm gonna kind of make sure that it's over enough. Okay, so this is what I have right now. Okay, there's the bow. Now we're gonna add in, what else do I have? I have some fun picks. Oh, hold on. Retract the blade. That's how I ended up in the emergency room a couple years ago. Not smart. All right, so looking at what else we have some of these candy corn picks. I also have these candy corn balls, which I think might end up using some of those, but I think what I kind of want to do for right now is start putting in some florals, okay? So we're gonna cut, I'm not putting them all in, don't worry. I'm just gonna put in a couple, but kind of all the way around, all right? And I don't want the white baby's breath, okay? We don't need, I'm losing my head. We don't want that. Okay, so I'm gonna cut one of these. I'm gonna go in and try to get a tall one. All right, but you darn straight that I'm gonna end up keeping all the leaves and the baby's breath stuff that are on here, because all you have to do is add a little dab of glue. You just add a little dab of glue, like look right here. Add a little dab of glue right on here, and then you can use this as filler in another project. The dab of glue just keeps it from coming off, so I'm just going to add that little dab of glue right there. Perfect. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3. 4, and then maybe one that I can cut a little bit shorter. 5. I'm going to start just with 5. Okay, move those to the side. I like to start with my tallest ones first, so the tallest ones would be these two. Yay! I feel like a cheerleader with pom-poms. Go pumpkins! Okay. All right, I think I want to try to put this kind of like behind our dude, so it's got kind of some coming out, but I don't really want to see this too much, so I'm going to bend it. I'm going to bend this just a little bit, so it's going to kind of come out by our dude. But I'm going to take a little bit off. I think he's just a little tall, so I'm going to take about an inch off of that. Now I'm going to glue it. Add some glue with a glue gun or a glue pot. All right. That's on there. Then I think for balance, I kind of maybe want to put one kind of coming out this way a little bit. But this can be maybe a little smaller one, so we're going to go this way. I'm going to go a little smaller guy, okay? But I still want him kind of coming out enough where I'm not going to see him. There we go. There we go. going around in the back now. Just gonna put one there. Might even put it a little bit shorter, just because we gotta make sure, I mean, most of the stuff you're gonna see is from the front and the sides, but we gotta make sure we can see everything on the back. And I also have been remiss. I have not been watching comments. I apologize. Mickey, yeah, you know, having a bigger bow maker helps. The one I use is the Easy Bows Design Pro. The reason I like that one is because it is wider and the spool is taller, but the dowels are plastic. So if you get the wood one, those MF and dowels fall out all the time. So either you got to put some wood glue in there and pound the crap out of it, but they just pop out. So I love the plastic one. But I do have... go watch my videos on YouTube, because I try to take you through watching. The whole key is a real good pinch and twist. It's like the bend and snap, the pinch and twist. That's how you get it. And then you pull it as tight as you can, and then that makes your loops pop. It's like when I pull on my really, really tight Spanx, and then my fat just flops right over it. It pops out. You know, I'm like a human can of biscuits. All right. Well, we got there. I think we need something over there. What do you think? All right, let me take a look, see what we want to put in. And I don't want it to be exactly right across, you know, but I think I want to have this one kind of coming down and in, so it's kind of looks like it's poking out behind the bow. So let's take this. Let's go in. All right, here we go. I like that. It's looking good, looking good. I think I want to put another tall guy, though, over on this side to kind of balance it out, but I am going to cut some of him off. He's not going to be as tall as the other one. I just love making these. I just love grabbing stuff and sticking it in there. And oh, that's a little too close. Okay. Okay, so what I did then was I kind of want to push this one down a little bit. Okay, now this one looks a little too long. So I put this one here, but it was too close to the other one, so I pushed this down. But I can pull it out. Just gotta give it a little wiggle, and boom, it came out. Okay, so I'm gonna put the head back on. We're gonna cut this down just a hair. It's about 1/2 inch. All right, re-gluing. It's about 1/2 inch. All right, re-gluing. And then one more over there. So let me go cut one more. Let me go cut one. Yeah. As my daughter can attest, if anybody's gonna cut one good, it'll be me. All right. Okay, I'm gonna cut this off. Now this one, I don't want it to line up exactly, otherwise we got a whole line of them. This one's gonna come angled back just a little bit, okay, because we're gonna fill it out. Because remember, people might look behind your arrangement, and we want to make sure that this looks like an arrangement and not just a front, well, more like a centerpiece and not just like a front arrangement. But because it definitely has a front, I guess this is considered an arrangement instead of a centerpiece. I'm going to trim this one tail a little bit. It's just a little long. Trimming it just a bit. Ooh, a little haircut. Much better. Okay. Okay, we've got that in there. Oh, what else should we put in now? I think these are very tall. So what I can do is I can recurl them and make them a little shorter. Or I can decide perhaps just to go with these curls that are already short as it is. So let's take a look. From a height perspective, it might add some of the height we need. So let me pull one out, okay? And I'm gonna put these one at a time. Again, these came from Craft Outlet. All right, I'm gonna snip this off. I think this is solid enough where I can just add the glue and stab it right in. If not, I'll have to add a pick. I don't want to. It worked. It worked. What do you think? You guys like it? You like it? I love it. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. I don't remember who said. Oh, that's Tim McGraw. How did I not? I should know. Shame on me. All right. I'm going to curl this just a little bit more before I put this one in. All right. So I put him here. Let's kind of hold it in place and figure out where this one's going to go. I think maybe in the back here. All right. Pulling on another one. And again, I'm leaving about maybe 2 inches, and I'm trying to pull as much of this paper off, but I also don't want to unravel it, so you're not going to see it that close to there. Here we go. All right, this one's kind of coming out from there, okay? Now, I've got 2 left. Pull these apart. I want to kind of bring them around to the sides, right? All right, cutting that. But let's kind of twist it or shrink it down just a little bit, kind of minimize a little bit of the height, okay? Throw in the glue, gluing on there. Do, 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 do. All right, there's that one. One more to go. This one is attached onto a big old stick. I'm saving this stick. I'm saving that stick. I have so many of those sticks, I don't need to save it. But it's like a box. You know, you get a good box and you're like, that's a good box. I should save that. And then you're like, no, I don't need it. And then you throw it away. And then like the next day you need a box. I don't have that problem anymore because I ship so much stuff. I have to buy boxes and I hoard boxes. Hoard boxes. Because I like to ship my items. If I can reuse a box, like an Amazon box, I will. Does it look the most professional? No, but I'd rather look slightly less professional and save trees. Plus, then I don't have to buy a box, which means I can keep my costs down, which means that I can list them for less. So, win-win. All right, so there we go so far. Now, what to add next? We're going these. We're going these. So I do make a very huge, ginormous version of this with like a pumpkin that's this size from the at-home store. I'm going to be doing one of those lives over on my Facebook page. I was supposed to do it last Wednesday, but I ended up in the ER. Thankfully, I did not have a stroke. It was just really bad vertigo, but that was scary. But I'm going to be doing that with a black and white pumpkin, and that you can probably catch Wednesdays. Go over to my Facebook Book of Faces page, follow me there, and I go live Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central. All right, now these two are kind of together, and I might try to keep them together because you see how far apart I can get those guys. All right, so let's see, where would I want to go? I think maybe kind of like something like this. So it's kind of like on either side of these. I think that looks good. I am going to cut it down a little bit. Okay. See if that's long enough. Yeah. Okay. Straighten it out. So hopefully I get a best shot of getting it right into the foam without it bending. Doesn't mean I have to hold my hand a little further down, closer to the glue. but hopefully I won't burn myself. Oh, it bent. Get bent. Yes, yes I did. All right, there we go. All right, we got those two in there. See how it looks? Kind of sticking out that way. And we can put some more stuff in here later on. I wish I could get it in the, you know what? I'm going to pull it out, guys. I didn't really like that. I am going to snip it. I'm going to put a pick on it just because I didn't really like that it wasn't supported enough. That pick did not work. Ugh. There we go. Nice and sharp. Thank you very much. All right. Let's try this once more with feeling. There we go. All right. There we go. All right, let me take a look. I've got one, and then I have another set of two over here. I can separate these out, and I think I probably will. All right, this is a tall guy, so I'm going to try to keep his height. I'm going to try to put him like in here, okay? I can hear my daughter playing games upstairs. She loves her online gaming. She doesn't have a lot of real life friends. So it's nice to hear her having fun. Having fun. All right, I've got two more. Okay. I kind of want something to sort of start coming out this way here. So let's focus on this spot right here, okay? I am gonna cut this down, I think, shorter. I want to go, I don't want to have to pierce the mesh, okay? So I'm going to try to do this without putting a pick on it. Wish me luck. Good luck and Godspeed. May the force be with you. Okay, that turned out good. Kind of put it like right here, and then I use the ribbons. Use the ribbons to kind of like hide the black stem. One more to go. I feel like I've got three on this side and just one on this side, so it definitely has to come on this side. But I don't quite know. I don't want to necessarily put it down. I think I kind of want to see it back here, so I'm going to try to put it like back here, coming out, okay? Which means I'm going to cut off about that much. Add some glue. I'm going to shove it in the foam. But angling it out. There we go. There we go. See where it is? And then that way, when you're seeing it, you can look at it. You can kind of sort of see it right there. Okay, that's looking good. I kind of actually, the more I'm looking at it, I feel like I want to put some more flowers in here. It looks a little floral light. I'm going to add a couple more in. Why not? I got a heck of a lot of them. I might as well. And then adding that in also then kind of keeps us from seeing too much of that white floral foam that we were using. Because God knows I don't want to use Spanish moss. Barf. Barf-a-roni. Okay. I'm going to put this in the back and then I'll turn around and show you where I shoved it. Alright, kind of just shoved it right in there. looking good. I still have some more of these picks, and I've got these candy corn. So let's take a look. Let's spread this out a little bit behind him. I like that. All right. Ooh, sorry. I've got hot glue going everywhere. I am a mess right now. Good Lord, what am I doing? Okay, what am I gonna use? I've got some of these picks. Now these picks, believe it or not, these are from the Dollar Tree. Okay, I got these last year. I hope they have them this year. They're actually really good. For $1, well, they were $1.25. They might end up being $1.50 or $1.75 this year. I don't know, because we all know that they raised their prices. But I'm gonna stick the big one right in here. Okay, so I'm bringing it toward me. I'm trying to figure out how long to cut my stick. I'm gonna cut off just a little bit. I'm gonna go do a dry fit, so I'm just gonna poke it in with no glue. See if I like it, and I like the length, which I think I do. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Shove it in. All right. This one's a little longer than it should be. I'm just trimming out my tails a little bit. Just doing a little tail trim. Little tail trim. Give me a little bang cut, okay? All right. That's looking better. Okay, so I've got the one big one. I'm gonna go grab another big one. Hold on a second. All right. Sorry. I can't tell you the last time I was able to grab a big one. It's been a long time. All right, here we go. Trying to get the label off. I think that's the biggest problem I have with these, is just trying to get the sticker off. All right, so I have one over here, but I do kind of want to balance it out a little bit, but I think I'm going to kind of put it more so it's coming out like here. All right, so I'm going to cut that off. Add some glue, because I don't want it to be, if I put them exactly the same way but not too symmetrical, it's going to look like bunny ears and it looks like Mickey Mouse. All right, so I got that one there. And now I have this one pick. Same concept, but there's 3 of them, so I'm going to separate them out, because that gives me more coverage. And I'm a full coverage gal. Okay. Let's see where we want to put these. Okay, I'm going to put one kind of coming out from underneath that ruffle, because I want to kind of add it to the back. We've got a lot of it on the front, so I think I'm good with the front. But again, I'm trying not to ignore the back. So I got one in there. And I'm putting it right in the butt crack of the ruffle, right in the ass crack. All right? And then that way it kind of comes right in between there and it looks perfect. Right in the ass crack of the ruffle. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said it that way. Sorry. This one I'm going to cut a little bit taller. Now I'm going to try to put this behind the ghosty. There's a lot of stuff that we have behind there, but I'm trying to kind of camouflage a lot of this if I can. There, like I didn't want to see the mechanics of where that was going in, so that kind of hides that. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. This one, I'm pulling out the stem. What am I doing? What am I doing? Remember when I said I was going to do a sweet center? Ta-da! That's going to be so cute. I love doing that, especially with candy corn stuff. Now this is a little bit larger than I normally would use, but it's so stinking cute that I don't care. I'm using it. pushing it on. I will refluff my bow after this. It's so cute. It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. Sorry. That was that cute little kid from Despicable Me. Okay, we've done good. Looking good. I think we're good. I think I'm just gonna maybe add, we've got a lot of curls in there already, so I'm okay with that, but I think we can add a little bit more of the black accent. So I'm gonna start putting in some of these. So these are just bead picks. I got these from the at-home store. They were $2.99 for, I'm sorry, $2.49 last year anyway, for a pack of 3. Let me see how high up I want that. And I'm just going to put these in. And I want to separate these out a little bit. You don't want them to kind of look like a big straight line. But it just adds a little bit of, a little touch, a little filler. And I like to take just maybe 2 of these, or 3, just kind of bend them like that, and then kind of put them in some of the spots down toward along the bottom of the pumpkin. Pro tip, I stick my fingers in his eyes to hold him to keep him from moving. Okay. I'm gonna do some more now. Woo! Well, that went flying. Shield your eyes, gird your loins. I accidentally blinded everybody. Sorry. I'm gonna put this in here. This is what I'm gonna do in the front, kind of underneath the bow. There we go. I might have to go in and hit that with a little bit of Spanish moss. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so then I'm going to cut this again instead of making a big long one. So I've literally cut this one piece into 3 pieces. And that helps us get more coverage. All right. The more you can air out and spread out some of your supplies, then the further it'll go. Also, so I used to get black leaves from Joann. They were the most perfect, awesome black leaves. I have a stash still that I'm saving to use my extra large decorated jack-o'-lanterns. But after that, I won't have any left for any more ever. Oh, Joann, girl, why'd you have to do us like that? To break our hearts. Joann, I was in a relationship with you for years, and then out of nowhere you just suddenly leave us. It's okay. I will always remember our time together fondly. Okay. Now I'm cutting another little one. I'm going to flip it around in a minute and kind of show you guys what I was doing back here so you know what the heck I was working on. I'll do like a rotate, like a fashion 360 camera, right? Okay, and then I got this one. I'm going to cut to be tall. So here's what I've done so far in the back. Okay, I've put ones underneath here, I've put ones back here, put a little bit back here. that one a little longer maybe, but I might be able to put that there. Okay, I'm going to try to stick this one in the front. There we go. And now perfect. All right, take a little bit more off of that. I'm going to go on the side here. Right in here is kind of where I feel like I need a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. And again, the pumpkin came from the at-home store. Which they have been putting out Halloween now. They didn't have all their Halloween out last time I was there, and it's been about maybe closing in on 2 weeks since I've been there. I want to go more often, but my credit card's like, girl, slow your roll. Don't do that. So, all right, looking at that. I'll bend this a little bit more that way. I just feel like I need a little bit more. Look in the back here. It's kind of like an empty space right there, right? There's like a void. I really feel like I need to fill it with something. I gotta fill it with something. Now this frizzy pick has 5 on there. It's kind of broken out into like 2 sections. Like this and that, but I can't really break them out too much, but I can snip it right here. And now I've got 2. Okay, so I'm going to try to go in and probably maybe use this one. I'm going to use the shorter one in the back there. I think the shorter one will work. It'll kind of cover that void space that we've got going on. And they're just 2 little curls, so nothing major. All right. And then I can pull the curls up a little bit, make them a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's what I just did back there. And then now I'm left with these curls. And I kind of think I want to put them over here because it got this big thing anchoring this side. But then I've got this. It's just a matter of where on this side I want to do it. I'm going to take a look. All right, so I'm going to cut off about this much, maybe a little bit more. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Going like that, okay? So I got about 4 inches of stem. Now I'm going to add some glue. Have fun, guys.
Thank you.
My stepkids, they're going out to have a life. What is that like again? All right, so put it in here. Now I just got to pull these up just a little bit to add a little bit of length on there. And we're good. I'm going to do it a once over, so I'm going to turn it on. All right. Got it turned on. Let me clean up my space here. Let me clean the space. Pull out my garbage can. And we can take a look. Okay. Here we have our finished pumpkin. Aww. He's so cute. Or is it a she? Is it a he or a she? I think we're going to make this a she. Because I feel like her name is Candy. With an I at the end. Because she's got extra sass. Okay? This is Candy with an I. Okay? All right. I'm pulling extra little glue hairs off. Making sure it looks good. But that's what the back looks like. All right. And again, on the bottom is just the switch to turn the power on and off. And here we go. Something like this, you could put it outside in a protected porch area. Now, I will have this listed in my shop. It's sweetariadecor.com. I'm going to have that listed probably by this afternoon, I hope. I've got lots of Halloween stuff out there. I've got bows if you want a Halloween tree or dress up a wreath you've got or put a bow on your mailbox. I've got bows out there. I've got skinneries. I got fat wreaths. I got pretty much anything you can imagine. And if you want something custom, you can let me know too. Message me through my Etsy shop. That is sweetariadecor.com. So thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Saturday. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And I hope it is a spooktacular weekend. Ha ha ha. I'll stop. Okay. Bye. Thanks.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me all over social media, and you can shop my store at sweetariadecor.com.